Oh, it feels good to be back in the Boiling Isles. So, with the Owl House, Disney did something interesting. Now, I've seen season one a couple of times. My kid has seen season one probably 3 or 4 times. Actually, no, 5 or 6 might be more accurate. She loves it. But here's the thing, because it airs on Disney, I don't know if it's Disney XD or the Disney Channel. I think it's just the Disney Channel. Doesn't matter. And it airs weekly. What happened with season one and what has been happening, not only with Disney, but with a lot of streaming services that host shows that air on cable and or standard network television first. It's not until the season's over, and actually, honestly, usually a month or two after that, that those episodes become available to anyone who would watch them over streaming. Disney did an interesting thing because, well, I would like them to just release it as a weekly thing, day and date, with the Disney Channel. That would be my preference. But if for whatever reason they're not going to do that, this was an interesting compromise. So earlier today, at time of recording, Disney Plus uploaded the first 5 episodes of season 2, which is still ongoing on the Disney Channel. And that is quite cool. I'm assuming we're going to get the next few bits in chunks, as time goes on. But that's nice. It's nice so that people who watch the thing streaming, because, look, some people have both, but, a lot of people who watch streaming have cut the cord. And forcing them to wait can honestly be, frustrating and a little embittering, because you're like, what am I paying for? So it's a decent compromise. Again, if they're not going to do day and date. My kid insisted that we binge all 5 of these immediately, which we did. And they were quite good. This does seem to be taking its sort of general progression cues a bit from Gravity Falls, in that this season, kind of right off the bat, is getting way, way, way more into lore and major progressions and shakeups for the characters, whereas the first season was a bit more loosey-goosey, and I almost just said loose and left it at that, but that's the main character. That would have been confusing, except now I'm highlighting it. Why am I doing that? I don't know. I'm not going to edit this. But the first season was much more loosey-goosey and just sort of having, here's an adventure, here's an adventure, here's an adventure, and the overarching story and the character connections being made would move forward a little, but there weren't that many heavy backstory episodes. There weren't all that many that felt like massive forward movements for an overarching plot, whereas here, it's getting into that stuff right off the bat. And it kind of has to, given that it's picking up from a pretty serious shakeup for multiple characters. Luce is now trapped on the Boiling Isles. She doesn't have the portal home anymore. Which not only means she can't go home, but because they were using the portal for her to be able to pick up internet signal and be able to text her mother, she can't even contact home anymore. So there's that. Both Lilith and Ida have had their magic nerfed because they're now sharing the curse. And so Luce actually starting to teach them the glyph use is interesting. I do worry about it a little, and this is just my own proclivities and preferences in terms of storytelling, but it does feel like they're starting to edge things in the direction of it's going to turn out that glyph magic is actually even more powerful than what witches are being taught, and I worry about Luce becoming some kind of savior. I don't think they're going to go literal chosen one. I don't think they're going to go, prophecy sort of thing. Although, Lord help me if I hear the word prophecy. But I am starting to worry that they're going to turn her into a savior figure, which I don't really want. Maybe other people do. That might just be me. And again, just my own narrative preferences. I find characters who become saviors of entire worlds boring, not that interesting. I'm far less engaged in that struggle than just them making connections and just trying to be a better whatever. In her case, a better witch. She doesn't have to become the best witch, but I worry it's going to head that way. As far as some of the specifics that we got into, had a little bit more with it. I'm not going to remember which was which one. Like I said, binged all 5 back to back to back to back. So they kind of all bleed together for me a bit. It's adorable watching Hootie and Lilith actually get along. I really love Hootie. He has become not my favorite character, but he's become a character I really appreciate, and I think they make very good use of him. Because I've mentioned a lot of places before that it's really hard to write a character who's annoying to the other characters without also making them only annoying and irritating to the audience. But Hootie, I think they use just enough that he's funny when he shows up, and it's kind of nice to see him make a genuine connection with someone who isn't annoyed all the time. I like that they made the effort to redesign Gus slightly to make him a little taller and look a little older, which they kind of had to do because unlike the female teenage characters who are voiced by adult women pitching their voices to sound younger, Gus was actually being voiced by a young male actor who I was wondering if his voice would have dropped for the second season, and it did. And I kind of like that there's no real attention drawn to it. They just visually age him up a little bit and move forward. Like, cool. I dig that. So we did, like I said, we get a lot more backstory. We meet Ida and Lilith's mother, which once I realized they were doing that, I got very nervous about. And then I got even more nervous about when it was clear that she was getting taken in by what basically amounted to a faith healing scam. And if you've seen any either content here or on TikTok, I've ranted about it as well. My issues with takedowns of charlatans or anything that feels like it's poking at religion tends to annoy me. Not because I'm a religious person. I'm really not. But it almost always is in either the form of bad faith low blows or a handful of identical stories that I've seen a million freaking times before. This, however, felt much better constructed because even though I personally, at least, saw a lot of parallels between this guy who's been taking this woman's money, between him and things like faith healers, prosperity gospels, cultish things, they didn't really put that much emphasis on that element of it. And even though I saw that parallel, it's not requiring you to see it that way. And you could just be seen as like, hell, the flippin' health supplement industry or companies like Goop, for crying out loud. Anything that is saying, no, it's those things that it's that medicine you're taking that actually makes you sick. You should do this other thing instead. They're just trying to make money, but I'll help you for 5 installments of $59.99. So I think the main thing that it did that made me not angry and annoyed at it was that it acknowledged that people who get taken in by this aren't stupid. They're desperate. And I actually think Ida's mother was a very well characterized, especially for those purposes, because it's very easy to make a character like that just seem like an idiot or so blind that they, even if the story is telling you they're not a stupid person, like, well, they're acting like a stupid person. But it goes through her rationalizations, and you understand that she tried everything. And when nothing else worked to truly get rid of the cure, and she felt that just managing it with the elixirs wasn't good enough, that she would turn to this stuff. And desperate people are what these things prey on. And it was surprisingly well balanced and nuanced, and it was really rewarding to watch her burn all that nonsense to the ground. And to understand that she wasn't the only victim, that Ida and now Lilith were also victims by proxy because of the behavior it brought out of her and the damage it caused to the family unit. So it's not just a matter of she was conned out of her money. There's bigger damage issues because she was focusing so hard on this disease and ignoring the people, her daughters, that were caught up in this. So that was actually surprisingly well done. King, I got nervous when, and I'm still a little nervous. I'm not as nervous, but I got nervous when it looked like they were explored. Like, is he actually the king of demons? Let's find out. I'm like, oh god, don't let him be. Because again, a bit like the idea of Luce becoming massively overpowered. Because like I want when the chips are down, I want Luce to win. Like if she ever takes on the Emperor again, I want her to win, but I don't want her to win with raw power. I want her to win with cunning. Not because she's more powerful than him, but because she outsmarts him. Anyway, I just tangented. So coming back to King, I was nervous that I'm like, oh god, are they going to confirm he actually is a king of demons? And are they going to like make him super important when kind of his wonderfully endearing thing is that he's basically just a pet who thinks he's super important and he's the king? And while they have now introduced a little bit mysterious backstory and absentee father, that I don't think is going to go as far off the rails. And the story they ended up telling, I actually thought was quite nice and almost kind of illustrates the potential hazard of overindulging fantastical notions for, I mean, in this scenario, King, while I called him a pet, he is a bit more like a child in this. And there are times where you have to help them face reality, and avoiding that can actually do damage. And I think this does a good job exploring that. Plus, like, Tiny King, oh my god, it's so freaking cute. Oh my god. Oh, I want one. So that was wonderful. Willow has 2 dads. Cool. I dig it. The whole thing with with Willow and Gus and Luce getting suspended from school, expelled from the school, like for the case of Luce, like again, like, are we really doing this again? Like, thankfully it was short-lived, but like, I understand the conflict going on between Amity and her parents, who we now actually see for the first time. We only saw them as shadows before. And they seem potentially interesting. Not massively yet, but potentially. But, bringing them in and having them, use their influence in the Parent-Creature Association. I love the stupid puns of this show. I really do. And taking that and wielding it against Amity's friends that they don't like. Like, I buy it, but again, just this idea of, and you're banned from Hexside. I'm like, come on, we did this. We did this already. So that I didn't love, and it was a little dull, but it did have good growth for Amity, and of course resulted in an absolutely flippin' adorable, that kiss. God, it's cute. And I like that from the start of this season, it's Luce who's the one starting to be flustered and blushing. Now, not that Amity stops doing that, but Luce does it a bit more. I think I get the feeling that Amity has started to get used to having those feelings and like is able to not just go red-faced all the time. Whereas Luce is falling into them a little harder right now. And it's really cute. And it's really sweet. Trying to think what else I wanted to highlight. Oh, totally random Amphibia reference out of nowhere. They had Hoppadiah's head on a book. That was interesting. Because yes, I am watching Amphibia with my kid. We're halfway through season 2. I don't think I'll do videos on it because I don't actually have that much to say. It's fine. It's fun. Passes the time. But like it doesn't bowl me over. But it was a fun reference. I did enjoy that. I think I'll wrap it up there. Owl House season 2, first 5 episodes on Disney Plus. Thank you for that. I like them, and I'm looking forward to more. And I'm sure my kid is going to rewatch all 5 of these on a loop for the next few weeks. What'd you think about it? Whatever your thoughts are, drop something down in the comments. Let's talk about it. Like, share, subscribe. I've got a Patreon. Don't know why I'm singing it, but that's how you can support me. And that keeps the lights on around here. It ensures that I'm able to afford things like Disney Plus and make these reviews. But even if you're not able to do that, the other stuff I mentioned, the likes, shares, and subscribes, what am I doing? I don't know. They all help me out. No pressure, though. We take a clearly very relaxed and unstructured attitude around here. So just come on back next time you need a break. Or a song.